I had a lesson, a composition lesson with Terence Blanchard, and he used to like come teach at my high school pretty frequently. And one of the things that he talks about that he actually got from Wayne Shorter, which is like a composition technique, but it was also like shown to us as an improvisatory technique, was to try to take a small phrase and then like use it in all these different ways. And so like we would do these exercises where we had to come up with he would give us like an hour to write a song essentially. And like we'd come back and I'd show him a song that I wrote, and then he'd be like, well, like, what is this bass line on the bridge? Like, where did that bass line come from? And if I couldn't tell him how that came from the original idea, then he was like, well, that's random. So you shouldn't have done that. You just did that because it was cool. And so for me, I think it's really just like that became just an ethos for me when it came to improvising and composing. Like whenever I was working on my own music or like jazz stuff, it was all about like, how can I take this one melodic idea or cell of an idea and use it as much as possible. The exercises he would give us is like, we had to come up with a cell of an idea, then we had to write it in every single key, then we had to write it starting in a key center and go up the scale, but keep the same shape, but keep it in the same key. So like not change the shape just because you're starting on a different note essentially. And then we had to take the same rhythm, but write different melodies with that same rhythm, take the same melody, but change the rhythm. And again, that just then, and then he would have us improvise from that space. And so like, he would have us improvise over a blues, and whatever idea we played first, every single idea we played after that had to come from that first idea. And if it didn't, he would stop us and be like, where did that idea come from? Like, did you just want to play that, or did that come from like your first idea? And so yeah, because that is just such a big part of like who I am as a musician. Like I didn't do it. It was super intentional to figure out all these other ways to use it. Or every time I started, I would be like, okay, well, this scene has to do with like this feeling and this thing, and especially with that, like it comes from that first, or this is the first cue that I had that has a melody to it, the one that I did against the field worker scene. And so then it was like, okay, well, I know I want to use that. Like, how am I going to use that, and how am I going to make sure that that's still some part of this cue?